Hello everybody, welcome to the show. It's August 9th, 2022, and this week we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to publish the video on YouTube, but we'll cut it somewhere in the halfway mark, maybe when we get to after the coin summaries, let's say, and then for the subscribers, we'll have our individual projects, things that are overvalued, undervalued, and of course our spotlight coins of the week that we are looking at for either great valuations because they sold off, or even this week there's some shorts that we can do to hedge against a couple of events that are coming up, which we'll get into. Now, the major event, and for the new people that are watching this, we usually cover the macro environment first because that drives prices directionally. Then we cover NFTs, then we cover overall coin movement. And we explain why they're moving in the ways they are. And then we go into very detailed, not really that detailed, kind of coin analysis as to what's going on with the news and how it affected the price and where the price is going from there. So that part is what a lot of people pay for. So we'll leave that part maybe to the subscription. But I want to make sure that this is valuable to everybody. And it's already been a minute, and I've gone a little overboard with this talk. So first thing to note is the consumer price index. This is the number one metric driving all of the market directions. It's been consequential for the rate increases. It's moving the stock market in any direction. Basically, CPI is the measure of inflation, and pretty soon we're going to flip over to core inflation because CPI has a lot of most people would say volatile kind of numbers like gas, and I believe it has food prices as well. And basically, gas is going down now, so a lot of the market has kind of baked in that tomorrow, which is the CPI announcement. Remember, it's August 9th as of filming. Tomorrow, people are expecting some crazy low number, but that's simply not true. I've seen some very disingenuous, misleading numbers coming out saying like it's 0.2% instead, but I believe that is the month over month, not the year over year. So the year over year is probably still going to be in the high eights. And if it remains in the high eights, I don't think the market's going to take too kindly to that. It will only be until next month when we see like the full effect of a lot of the decreases in the gas prices. So last couple months, we predicted that markets would zoom up over the CPI, or not CPI, over the rate increases. And this time, I think the market might have a little bit overcorrected in terms of buying back stocks and crypto. But remember, the news behind the news is if you see an end in sight, markets will start buying towards that end. So when there's uncertainty, like if inflation increases every month for the next 10 months, or is it going to be the next 3 months, that certainty is huge in the market. Markets will price that in, and that's why we've seen such a recovery in markets. So you see the SPX, S&P 500 index, and that's a pop-up first of all, but the SPX is recovering like crazy because all those like oil prices were coming down and people are expecting the inflation to go down. So again, tomorrow's number might surprise people. I am not psychic, but anything below an 8.5% will send markets going up. Anything above an 8.7 most likely will cause a correction. And there's a few things that you can do about this. I have a few hedges in place, which I'll talk about near the end of the video. So there's some other interesting pieces of news in the macro sense. Weekly jobless claims rise to 260. We also have payroll increasing 528. Now, the interesting about just to take a step back, any good news in the economy makes it so that the Fed, who controls interest rates, will probably be more aggressive because right now they've calmed down, they've taken a step back, and they're like, well, if we're market neutral now, we don't want to raise rates as aggressively, we'll look at data. If the data is showing that the economy is like really good right now and we have inflation, what do you think that means? That means they're going to raise the rates aggressively. So it's counterintuitive because the economy is doing good, but then the stock market will actually go down because they will raise rates. The consequence of raising rates is having less capital in the markets, right? So basically, if there's good news, it's bad for the markets. If there's bad news, it's actually kind of good for the markets. And that's like a function of inflation and interest rates, right? And just like take a step back with inflation, the higher the kind of overall inflation, the higher prices are, right? That includes the stock market. If there's any deflation, that includes the stock market. Prices come down because the dollar value is stronger, right? Another wild card thing, monkeypox is still in the news, and now multiple states, and now the U.S. declares a state of emergency, or U.S. declares an emergency now, country of emergency, and that is to lift some of the regulatory bureaucratic hurdles, let vaccines and medicine get produced and distributed faster. Again, this is a wild card thing. We don't know how this is going to affect anything yet. So far, it's just like more sensational than actually causing some ripples in the economy. So nothing like COVID yet. Right now, we have some crazy fund news. There's a new $1 billion flagship crypto hedge fund getting launched by Brevin Howard. We also have Galaxy Digital reporting huge losses, $554 million in the last quarter. But remember, they sold a lot of their Luna position in Q1, which was like $600 million gain. So they're kind of like just broke even off that one trade, which is interesting. We also have Binance, and this is, again, sensational news. They say like $7.5 billion VC arm, but that's including all the assets that have already made a return at 21x. So you could probably divide that by 21, and that's kind of like more the initial capital. And then SoftBank is also recording a $23 billion loss, and this is more bigger, broader than crypto, not just crypto like the last two that we mentioned. But basically, 23 billion is a huge number. But remember, like a lot of they've had some pretty good recent later stage trades, such as like Uber. They made like $1 billion off of. I think DoorDash, they called for a huge profit there, but they're still holding it. And then some of these like WeWorks and other huge gambles did not pay off. And he actually had Masayoshi-san had a very interesting speech where he's actually very humble about it. He says like we messed up. We were swinging for the fences and we missed the hits, right? In other news, Iran is making its first import in cryptocurrency, but the more concerning piece of it is saying that this is just the beginning. The use of cryptocurrency since March contracts will be widely used in forward trade. So basically, sanctions being put on Iran doesn't matter right now. Like they have other plans to get around it. And the biggest news this week is, just to give some context before we talk about it, is OFAC, which is the Office of Foreign Assets Control. If you're on this list, you cannot use the funds in that, let's say, bank account. Or if your name is on the list, I believe, like you can't fly around. Basically, it's like money laundering, terrorism, narcotics traffickers, all this stuff. If you're on the list, it's bad. Your funds are essentially frozen. And now, U.S. Department of Treasury has put on a bunch of wallet addresses on here. I don't know if this might be at least the first time that I can remember seeing some list this extensive. So all these Ethereum wallets were put on this OFAC list mainly because of Tornado Cash. And just to explain how Tornado Cash works, you send very specific denominations of Ethereum, 1 Ethereum, 10 Ethereum, 100 Ethereum, and you can withdraw it from another wallet on the other side. So what happens is you have this tornado of all this Ethereum mixed together, and then on the other side you can be pulling it out, and you have no idea who's the depositor and the withdrawer. Like they're completely separated, right? And they give you a key that you can withdraw from. So maybe that can be cracked. I don't think it will be cracked, but otherwise they would have figured it out by now. But basically that is how Tornado Cash works. It hides who the sender of money was. Hackers use this to wash their Ethereum essentially. But if you withdrew from that Tornado Cash contract, that probably means you are on this list. And what is the excuse is that North Korea has been using it. The hackers have been taking Ethereum from all over the place, and they've been washing it with Tornado Cash. And what is very interesting now is now that this list is up, Infura and Alchemy, which are APIs that interact with crypto and in your MetaMask wallet, all the wallets, they have a pretty firm monopoly on people using the Ethereum API. It's not letting you use your wallet if you have if you want to access Tornado Cash, right? Or if you're on that list. And Circle just took that list and they froze the assets. But funny enough, there was only 3 addresses on there that had money, I guess. So about $75,000 is now frozen. So if you had Ethereum in there, you can't freeze it, right? That's just well, actually, maybe you can with the Infura API. So you have to use your own Ethereum node to move it. But basically, if you had USDC, then it's frozen. So what is going to happen now? Basically, stable coins, like USDC is no longer considered a decentralized stablecoin. And then people were trolling celebrities by sending Ethereum from Tornado Cash, withdrawing zero 0.1 Ethereum to all these different wallets. You can see like Shaq, Jimmy Fallon, who else is on here? They were all getting free. Oh, even Ben Horowitz. They were getting free Ethereum, but the trolling here was to try to blacklist their wallets, right? And then Jeremy Allaire, CEO of Circle, and their partner Coinbase, they've saying like, oh, we're being responsible, and we had to make this move. We're trying to fight for DeFi. Of course, they have to end it with we're fighting for DeFi, right, and public internet. But they have to comply. They want to go IPO right next year, so they can't have any heat on them right now. Binance also has a entity in India called WazirX that's under investigation from money laundering, and now Binance is distancing itself, saying like, oh, we actually never finished this acquisition, and then WazirX is like, what are you talking about? So there's some drama there, and then Coinbase, this is big news. They were selected by BlackRock to provide custody for their crypto trading and holding crypto for large net worth clients. Remember, BlackRock is huge, and if BlackRock decided to do some sort of holding ETF, any publicly traded vehicle, they can use Coinbase Prime now, and Coinbase's stock shot up after this news. It's actually up quite a lot from the bottom. I think it was $30 just last week or 2 weeks ago, coincidentally dumped by Cathie Woods and her ARK fund. They dumped at the very bottom at $30, and then it went all the way to $90. And now it just had earnings. So just taking a look at the earnings here. Let's see if we have so it went from $98 to I think it's 84 somewhere here. But anyways, tomorrow's market open will be the actual interesting price. But it's only down 5% after hours, after down 10% during the day today. But look at this. They actually had an expected loss double. So sorry, the actual loss was double the expected loss. So that's not good. And a lot of Coinbase's stock going up was just because of the BlackRock news and because Bitcoin and Ethereum were going up. And that, remember, earnings don't care about the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Like, it's obviously correlating with Coinbase stock, but the actual earnings really just care about your revenue, your assets held, all that stuff. And obviously, their assets they have a lot of Coinbase, or not a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum, so those prices went up. So maybe that's why their stock value is up, because they have some assets that are going up as well. But basically, revenue was close enough in line, still a little lower than expected. But to be fair, how bad these earnings are, I mean, this is like, if you double the loss, which is like pretty high dollar value per share, that's actually a minus 5% is not that bad. So I right now, if it's $80, we probably will see $70 at the end of the week, because that's pretty bad earnings. And also we have like some volatility coming tomorrow. CreatorDAO raised a 20 million seed round. So even though multiples for different early stage companies are going down, we are still seeing these crazy deals because these giant funds. Remember, we just talked about $1 billion fund getting created in the beginning. These giant funds have to write checks. And then when they set the valuation this high, everybody else just jumps in. And I don't know what the total valuation is, but remember, $20 million for seed round is huge. So I'm not even focusing on the project. I'm just focusing on the fact that for a seed round, it got $20 million. And actually, I know the CEO of this company. He's in one of my chat groups that I've created. But anyway, CreatorDAO is meant for creators and helps provide capital for them and support. But the news behind the news is there's still some outrageous raises going on. We even see Tiffany & Co. They had this NFT sale. I think they only had 250. So I think what the new trend is going to be is very low number of assets being sold. That way you can say you sold out, even if it was, I believe, 30 Ethereum. So right now, if you paid for this Tiffany NFT, you lost 7.5 Ethereum. Which is 10 grand. Am I doing the math right? Anyways, I'm just did it really quick. Basically, NFTs are still in a slow bleed right now. Volume is low, and prices are coming down now. And I think NFTs number one use case is clubs and memberships and getting access to high net worth individuals. That is still going to be happening. So you'll see some of the blue chip ones stay afloat, but those are slowly bleeding too. I mean, the nominal Ethereum value, the dollar value to Ethereum, or the number of Ethereum is going down, but the dollar value is still remaining the same. So if you, let's say, were worth 10 Ethereum for your NFT and you drop down to 7.5 Ethereum, you're still okay because Ethereum went up like 40% last week, right? Or this week it's been flat, but the previous week it was up like 40%. Reddit is joining this like whole cryptocurrency Web3 situation. They're adding a token to their subreddits. You can actually pass them out. FTX is actually powering this on the back end. FTX is going to rule the world. And they're on Arbitrum Nova to be precise, and Arbitrum is a layer 2 on Ethereum. So eventually you will be able to trade these tokens on Uniswap probably because it's going to be on Ethereum network, right? So basically Reddit, giant platform. Don't know if everybody else uses Reddit. I use it a lot. I think it's really fun. But huge news in terms of the Web3 kind of adoption, right? Because I don't know of any other website or app as big as Reddit kind of just putting in cryptocurrencies, like a lot of cryptocurrencies too. Remember, there's a ton of subreddits, and then each of these have value. You can pay people and you trade it for perks. But I have to look closely at the tokenomics here. Oh, can you imagine me writing the newsletter and putting in Reddit tokens to seeing if they're undervalued? Oh my gosh, what a crazy world we live in, right? Okay, catching my breath. Meta confirms NFT rollout on their Instagram app. This is actually powered by the Flow blockchain. So if you have just curiously looked at Flow and why it's up 50% and up 85% in the last 2 weeks, this is the reason why. So Flow blockchain up 50%, $3 billion market cap now. And it's not really clear exactly how it's going to be used. NFTs are probably going to be printed on Flow chain, just like NBA Top Shot, and you could probably purchase them off Meta. But and then actually it might become semi-successful if Meta, they have a lot of smart people there. They'll probably make it like scarce for some of these NFTs. People will pay a lot of money, show them on their profile picture. This is a big deal. So Meta is going to benefit from all the sales it's going to make. Flow blockchain is going to benefit because we have to use, of course, the Flow token to print stuff on Flow. So this is why Flow is up. In terms of, hey, Jeff, should I buy this? I'm a little always hesitant, and that's like oxymoron. I'm hesitant when you see pumps like this. But obviously, Meta is the one of the biggest platforms out there as well. So within 1 week, we have Reddit and Meta rolling out major Web 2 or Web 3, I should say, features to the public, right? This is some crazy stuff that we're seeing in blockchain and Web3 space. Starbucks is also unveiling Web3 rewards next month. So all these companies probably wanted to do these ideas earlier, but they're so big that they take a long time to implement. So now they're kind of like, oh, we're ready, but let's wait for like some sort of bull run to announce. And now the bull run is kind of here. We'll see about that after tomorrow. But they're announcing all at once because this is like maybe the last chance if there's another crypto winter. And this will have some sort of NFTs. Maybe you can buy NFTs and you get special perks such as like discounts or rewards, right? Anyways, let's keep going forward. I probably should have read the article. I'm glossing through. And it's this has happened just last week after our last video ended. Solana appeared to have been hacked. Nobody knew why, and that's because the hacker was using actual private keys, meaning they were sending funds as if they were the user. And that's not a good sign. Usually it's like I clicked on a thing by mistake, or I shouldn't have approved my wallet, shouldn't have made that swap, shouldn't have gone to that website, but basically it was like 9,000 wallets. So people are like, did someone crack Solana's code to generate wallets? But the culprit was actually a Slope wallet. And Slope wallet, when it communicated with any integrations, just let the private key be exposed. So they were putting their private key in plain text, and people were able to, or whoever this was able to just make transactions, send their money away. And then this, for Tornado Cash probably isn't being used here, but this is a big problem that Solana, people were scared that Solana was in trouble, right? All right, now this will be you know what? I'll add a bonus section because this is the YouTube thing. But the next thing is what I'm going to do is go over kind of the overall market action. The main thing to look for, of course, is Bitcoin and Ethereum, always drivers of the entire health of the market. Ethereum was up 3.8%, so that means like this week was relatively a flat week. There was some bullish movement, but everything dropped today. And then one thing to note is Binance is still crushing it. They've been like on a steady outperform with Ethereum. We also have Avalanche, which we'll talk about in a second, but just a preview, Avalanche was just listed on Robinhood, which is why it's up a lot more. We also have some other anomalies here. Near Protocol, which is because of probably the USDC incident, makes their stablecoin a little more desirable. And we also have this crazy move by Flow, which we already covered. And last week we talked about Atom outperforming Ethereum based off of the IBC narrative. The bridges kept getting hacked, and Atom did outperform Ethereum, so it outperformed by more than double. So that's good. That was our spotlight coin of last week. And anything else I want to point out? What was this 26? Oh, Zcash. A lot of people going into Zcash thinking that if Tornado Cash is gone, maybe Zcash has to be the alternative. That's my guess anyway. And then Celsius on a tear, even after its bankruptcy, I think it's up like 400%, which is very, very concerning because that company is essentially non-existent anymore, right? So, and one more thing, Oasis Protocol up 30%. One of our main coins, some of our community admin actually works there, and I was one of the first round investors in Oasis as well. So happy to see that coming back based off of their partnership with Meta AI. So Meta is actually really getting into Web3, despite people being a little cautious about that, right? Because the government's always like, hey, what's Meta doing? Okay, so we'll talk about the first coin here, and then I'll kind of break away for the subscribers, and then let's see if this video gets watched. If not, then this was all just for fun. First thing is Ethereum. So Ethereum Merge is happening next month, slated for September 16th, I believe, or 19th. It's going to be some weird range of days because it's based off of block height. But there's Arthur Hayes. He's been publishing a lot lately, guessing that it's going to be 2.8 thousand based off of a couple of different outcomes. And this is his math here. Let me see. He writes a lot. But his math is going to be taking into account that the merge is successful, that inflation is handled, blah, 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 all the good stuff. Oh, man, he gets really into the weeds, I guess. But expected value is 2.8K with a ceiling of 5K, right? And my initial guess was $2,000 a couple months ago, I believe. And we are actually getting fairly close to that number now. I think Ethereum's back down to 1,600, but it hit 1,800 yesterday, which was actually, I was like, wow, we're closer to 2,000 than I thought to get to the merge. But anyway, we're coming back down, so we'll see how accurate that call was. I think as we get closer, you have to adjust, and we obviously think now it's like, okay, probably going to be 2,500 or 3,000. So everybody's kind of like merging into a number closer as we get closer to the date. And this week, the merge is going to happen on a testnet, but here's the controversy with what's going to happen with Ethereum's merge. There is a free cash grab going on right now, and that is all these different Ethereum miners, their hardware is going to be useless. So what's going on right now is like Chandler Guo and Justin Sun. Chandler is a head of like a prominent mining firm. They're trying to make another Ethereum fork. And what is happening is like China, Huobi is saying, oh yeah, we will support the upcoming hard fork. And then Justin Sun is saying, oh yeah, Poloniex will support the hard fork. And it's like, who even said there's going to be a hard fork? These people are going to be behind it, right? Because now Justin Sun just tweeted, oh, we're already allowing Ethereum work and Ethereum stake to be trading live on Poloniex. So basically, they are making this a reality. So there's like 100% chance certainty that there's going to be Ethereum W. And I'm pretty sure the community is going to be like very divisive about this. I think a lot of smart contracts won't work anymore. A lot of the tokens won't work anymore. A lot of the NFTs are going to be duplicated. So it's all in the newsletter. But the one thing I want to say is, like, there is a 99% chance, I just said 100, but it's probably more like 99% now, that ETHW is going to be a free coin on your Ethereum. So if you want a 100% play, you could actually just buy Ethereum and then short it on another exchange, right? So you have like a delta neutral or delta zero gain. And then you'll get free ETHW, however much that's worth, probably not much. And then you'll have all this free money and just sell it, right? That's a free trading advice, but you won't make that much money. More likely, the better play is just to hold Ethereum. And then, and then when you get closer to the merge, then you short it, right? And then most likely you capture any kind of market movement, volatility going into the merge. And so that is I guess I'll cut the public version of the video there, and then we'll see what the reaction is. And if people, if the subscribers like message me and say like, hey, take it down, there's too much alpha, that is something I'll take into consideration, right? All right, so let's stop it there. And now moving forward, I should say, like, thanks for watching for the YouTube folks. We'll see you next time, maybe, unless I get yelled at. So until then, happy trading. I'm just like, I saw this, so it made me say that.